Hello there, sword friends. This video is about a somewhat different topic, but still related to swords and historical arms and armor. As I just surpassed the requirements of channel monetization, I sought to do a special video documenting the nature of my day job. I got asked a lot about what I do for a living by sword friends. Hopefully by the end of this short video, I'll be able to elaborate on the answer to that question. My wife and I are independent video game developers. Our first game, Fortune Favors the Bold, is a role-playing game about a mercenary's life in the 15th century Europe, specifically set during the Wars of the Roses. We have been working on that for quite a few years, and for the last couple of years or so, the focus of the development has been on the motion capture of the combat animations. I have done some extensive research of the use of historical arms and armor, including period treatises written by weapon masters of the time that instruct the techniques relevant to the context of contemporary warfare, as well as judicial dueling, also known as trial by combat. Obviously, the audience of this channel know me commonly doing this in my creative content, reviewing swords, mostly reproductions of historical pieces, scrutinizing them, analyzing the use and handling characteristics of them, and practicing cutting with them. These obviously all tie into the design of the combat system in our game, and thanks to the advancement of technology, we are able to access technologies only available to AAA productions in the past few decades, such as 3D scanning, photogrammetry, and motion capture. At the moment, we are using Perception Neuron version 3 to capture my performance with all sorts of medieval weaponry, including arming swords, long swords, daggers, polearms, spears, and percussive weapons like maces and warhammers, in conjunction with bucklers and shields. Setting the whole rig up for each recording session is a lengthy and tedious process. Typically, motion captures are done in skin-tight bodysuits with a number of sensors attached to the surface. The suits aren't comfortable to wear at all and have to be tailor-made to the performer. Gaining or losing weight can pose some problems, as the suit should stay static in relation to the body. Therefore, having a stretched or loosened suit can impact the accuracy of the capture. The system we use utilizes a number of straps instead of a suit. This obviously enables a certain degree of adjustability to different sizes of body parts. Suddenly, having a bigger or smaller bicep is no longer a problem. The challenge is that there are simply too many damn straps to wear. Here you can see to even put on all the straps would take 5 to 10 minutes. And even though they are not very movement restraining, wearing nonetheless creates certain stress over a prolonged period of time. The bigger problem is that since individual straps can be adjusted, it can cause sensors to be worn asymmetrically and thus causing the quality of motion capture to be subpar. Calibrating these electronic magnetic sensors is also a major pain in the butt. You're compelled to do these weird motions before wearing them to calibrate the magnetic properties, and if not done right, you won't be warned. However, after spending minutes inserting all the sensors all over your body, you will see how hilariously wrong the motion is projected in the software. You then have no choice but to take all the sensors off one by one and recalibrate them. Sometimes, the back and forth can take half an hour. Due to the amount of magnetic interference there is inside a modern home, capturing sessions have to be done outdoors. Not to mention how hazardous it is to swing weapons 5 or 6 feet long, such as long swords and polearms. Here you see us recording the entire 2-hour session in our garden on a sunny and warm day. But if you know the climate of Vancouver where I live, days like that are in short supply. Fortunately, we're able to record this in our lobby, which has high ceilings. When once in a while you have curious neighbors driving by in their Porsches, wondering what the heck these crazy nuts are doing. It's truly a blessing that everybody gives their full support once you explain everything, and we are relieved that this whole ordeal isn't too awkward or embarrassing. Given the difficulty of conducting these recording sessions, you want to maximize the amount of animations you can capture in each session, and my study of period weaponry tells me that the best way and the only right way to perform these animations is with correctly weighted real weapons instead of foam and plastic props. The feeling and momentum of accurate reproductions are so different, and the realism of the animations cannot be replaced. Honestly, I would rather using weighted analogs like feather swords or training swords like the Albion Lichina, but I found myself picking the average life blades to do these sessions nonetheless. I have to say, despite the fact that historical weapons are mostly light and lively, swinging them for an hour with stringent requirements for motions while wearing these straps and fragile sensors is both physically and mentally draining. The recording sessions are merely the baby steps in the production of engine-ready animations, as bulk of the work lies within the post-production of the captured raw data, which has to be processed in the motion capture rig software and then imported into Unreal Engine or Maya for a lengthy undertaking to correct all the errors generated during the motion capture, which are usually numerous. Each animation clip can go through up to days toiling away in 3D modeling softwares. I try to design the combat animations to be highly realistic and faithful to historical techniques, while making sense for gameplay. Due to my penchant for overthinking and overcomplicating things, the entire workflow is quite costly in terms of man-hours. But hey, it's my passion and calling, so there's nothing to complain about. I'm living the dream by most people's standards. Regular viewers of my channel have probably already extrapolated that from the length of my videos and my tendency to cover every single last aspect of the topic that I can think of. It's a blessing and a curse. Now that my channel has monetized, going forward, I probably will maintain the same uploading schedule. That is, most of the time, 1 or 2 videos per month. I think that is the upper limit of the time I can afford to spend on top of my day job. I will still review tons of historical swords, arms and armor, but maybe also some historically inspired fantasy pieces. Next on the review video production line are 4 more Albion pieces: the Kingmaker, the Principe, the Aquilifer, and the Baron. In addition, a Lockwood Type 15A Bastard Sword that is superficially similar to the Albion Mercenary, the new LK Chen Kriegsmesser, Knights Templar, and Exandria, a claw hammer, Italian longsword, and at least 2 katanas to be reviewed by my wife. I also plan on making more content talking about general trend of historical arms and armor, which is highly relevant to the game I'm developing. The first video I have in mind is detailing the evolution of medieval European longswords. That's a lot on my plate, so stay tuned. Last but not least, I would like to thank every sword friend and viewer that has shown me support over the past few years. It took me quite a while to get here, almost 3 years, and 50 long videos, about 180,000 views. Without your support, this channel certainly wouldn't last this long. I only strive to produce higher quality content from now on. Sword collecting and appreciating is a hell of a hobby that goes back thousands of years. In modern days, we might think it's a fringe activity, which can't be further from the truth. You have historical records written down 2,500 years ago about the details of some ancient sword friends appreciating each other's collection, as well as bickering over whose swords are superior, both in handling and in heat treatment. Practically identical to what we do today, and some of these aficionados are prominent figures like successful monarchs and magnates that have their unique places in history. Perhaps I will make some storytime videos on this topic as well in the future. Until then, please like and subscribe.